when the mother is saying to Peter, hey, I have somebody for you. He's a spin instructor. He's like really attractive. Then they meet up.
That guy does not have the body of a spin instructor.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Brunch. Hit it, boys. A YouTube video has gone viral for me. I keep watching one YouTube video over and over again.
Which one?
It is related to a recent work of ours. I can't stop watching the Hungry Eyes scene from Dirty Dancing because that's the scene in which Jennifer Grey keeps breaking, and I did not know, you hit me with that FF,
Yeah.
that was real. She was actually breaking, and I keep watching it because I'm not watching Jennifer.
Watching the Sways, man?
I'm watching Sway's Patrol, and he is
pissed.
Like, he's breaking because his character is never as disgusted with Jennifer Grey's character. Johnny is never as just furious and sickened by Baby as Swayze is with Jennifer Grey there.
Oh, yeah.
I've seriously watched it like 10 times.
Not
that's the whole video. I'll just like rewatch that part over and over again.
Yeah, it's when I saw the fun fact, they had like a looping GIF of one of the tickles, and I was like, oh man, he's mad. He is mad.
And he's like looking around at other people. Like you can't, once it's pointed out to you that's an outtake, it makes total sense because his like eyes are darting, or he's doing like some like, you see what I'm working with here? And I believe there may be one person in the room because Penny is in that room for part of it, right? That scene?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's like holding Baby's waist and like helping her.
She's
with
getting
her
some
posture.
instruction.
Yeah, she's helping. But who else could he be looking at? Like, I'd understand if his eyes went one place and was like, hey, Penny, don't you hate Baby? Me too. I'm not going to have sex with her for at least another day.
Maybe he's looking for his higher power, being like, Lord, help this woman.
Lord, bear me strength to dance with this
underage gal.
Absolutely clueless child. She's so dumb she doesn't even know you're not supposed to laugh while running it really does make sense though that like, would that even be is that supposed to be part of the dance routine, or is that supposed to be like them getting closer together? Because I guess ballroom dancing, you feel each other up a bit, but like the running the hand down somebody's face. And then,
well, that's part of the routine. They do that
okay.
on stage at the very end, the last dance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is like the and he goes like pretty far down too, and it made me uncomfortable. I was like, her parents are right there, and you are like an adult, and she is not.
Under discussed, and it was I meant for it to be one of my main points in the Dirty Dancing discussion.
Which, by the way, is now on the Patreon. You can go listen to Tomato Fight 6, Dirty Dancing versus Hitch with Jack Kennedy from Lights, Camera, Barstool. It was an awesome discussion.
Wait, are we talking about something exclusive so listeners hear it and are like, wait, what are they talking about? I love Inside Podcasts. I'd love to be part of one someday. And they go on there. Kind of. This is sort of promotional for it, but I meant to say, who cares about how that gig goes? Like, what if they just have her, like, they could have had her fill in and he'd be like,
yeah.
I'm just going to spin you around a few times. None of these people know anything about dancing.
Very low stakes.
Right.
Very low stakes.
I mean, that's artists, though. Like, most other lines of work, people are like, I'm hungover today. I'm just going to mail it in. Hey, can you do most of the talking? Cool. I'm all good. Artists don't even consider that.
Yeah, it's a pride thing. I think it's a
Yeah.
pride thing, and it's like, they felt like they were put on the earth to do like this one thing, and they want to do it their best every time. Plus, you got to consider the fact that if Swayze doesn't knock it out of the park, he's not going to get invited back to bang more children the next year.
That's true. I almost got him confused with a character from Single All the Way, which we're going to talk about in our next Patreon. This is just going to be one whole big like, we don't really talk about anything but Patreon content, but we don't go all the way there. So you have to get on the brunch Patreon, patreon.com/listen to brunch. I almost got him confused with the character James from Single All the Way, because I was going to be like, well, no, he only like lives there seasonally, but then he goes back to Boston, but he moved there full time, but now there's not much of a dating scene.
Right.
So that's why.
Desperate times, man.
Yeah, desperate times. Which, I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm going to talk about Single All the Way for a second. Like, I know New Hampshire pretty well. James would be able to find somebody.
Right. It's not that far away from Boston either. Like,
right.
It's
people make themselves available when James is in the mix.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And, yeah, I mean, like, New Hampshire is not the most progressive state, I would say.
It's not.
But there are a lot of, like, accessible points that
yeah.
would provide more opportunity.
Yeah, there's liberal pockets. Yeah.
Sounds like James is maybe making some excuses.
Right. Dude, dip over to Portsmouth. You're near Portsmouth. You're near Portland. New Hampshire ain't a big enough state for you to be far away from either of those places. Right. So just do that. You know what my biggest issue with Single All the Way was?
What is it?
I know the spin game very well.
Oh, yeah.
When his mom, played by, I always forget her name, but she's like basically the other Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes.
Both Jennifer Coolidge and the other Jennifer Coolidge. This is no disrespect to, what is her name? Kathy Najimy.
Okay.
I don't know if I've said her last name right, but that's like a real Kim Coates, Bill Fichtner type situation. Both those people being in that movie confused me a lot. But when the mother is saying to Peter, hey, I have somebody for you. He's a spin instructor. He's like really attractive. Then they meet up.
That guy does not have the body of a spin instructor.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Spin instructors
They're
are
thin,
compact, tight, like
Jesus bod.
Very strong. But yes, Jesus bod. This guy is Bane.
Because it's cardio. It's
Yeah.
cardio. This guy is like a beefcake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
Which, like, maybe that's just, like, what can't James do? Maybe it's, like,
maybe,
James
but
is
I think
so perfect.
It's probably more explained by, like, hey, we need somebody who's in shape to play the role of, like, the gym guy, but they just got a guy who is in the wrong kind of good shape.
So if you want to hear that exact same conversation for a little more money, head over to patreon.com/listen to brunch. $5 tier gets you all the bonus content. I did notice with another podcast's Patreon, they list their offerings in the aggregate versus like in the weekly. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder if that's like a sales trick. Should we be doing that?
How so? Like,
should we be saying like?
You used a big word there. I only know aggregate in the sense of
I mean,
soccer.
just like cumulatively, like adding something up. So theirs says like for $5 a month, you get 4 bonus episodes. Like that's double the episodes that you get normally. You're like, wow, that sounds great. We say for $5 a month, you get a bonus weekly episode.
Yeah.
But who knows? Depending on the week.
Knowing us though, like we would end up having to record 4 episodes at the last week or the last day of the
We'd
month.
be like, well, technically we're giving them 4 a month, and we would. That's not a bad idea. What if we change to that, and then strategically we just have some months planned where we'll go the whole month, and people be like, "Where's the episodes? We're not signing up." Blah, and then like
slamming it down on the
last
table,
day
being
we
like,
have like 4
rent's due,
pristine-
bitch.
Yeah, yeah, crisp dollar bills.
Would Affleck Week have covered us for the entire month? I mean, technically,
Affleck Week was 5 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, we would have been good.
Yeah.
We could have taken the rest of the month off.
Was Affleck Week Patreon exclusive?
Partially.
Okay.
I think we still did. I believe we
I think
still
the
did
weekly
like,
episode was an episode of Affleck Week.
Right, and I hope that we did this. We might not have. I hope that we made the 3rd Affleck Week episode, which is like that happened to be the Wednesday episode. If we just made that one out of context,
I think that's what we did.
Episode.
I think that's what we did.
So on
can't
Wednesday,
be sure.
people just got like a welcome back to Affleck Week type thing.
Either that, or we made the first Affleck Week episode the public one, and then we're like, if you want the rest of them, they'll be on Patreon.
I believe Patreon is worth it, not only for Tomato Fights now, which Tomato Fights rocks, and we're seriously having the time of our lives. And we've got a big Tomato Fights coming up, not this week, but hopefully next week. It's with multiple guests, and we have to time everything right. But in addition to Tomato Fights, I think that the Patreon is now really super duper worth it, just because of, or I should say, it was initially worth it anyway because of Affleck Week and Dylan on Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Like those things.
Yeah.
It's like I used to pay $10 a month for Netflix to just always be able to watch The Office. Even if I wasn't going to watch The Office that month, I like to have them on retainer.
Yeah.
Having Dylan on Dylan available to you at all times, or having Affleck Week available to you at all times, is worth it. But now having Tomato Fights, and look, man, Jack Kennedy is just great. I didn't totally appreciate him rocking the NYC FC gear, but that's his team. And I love that I know people who are like MLS rivals of mine. It makes the MLS thing feel real.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out my current getup, by the way. Just going to change the logo and pretend none of this ever happened. That's how I'm trying to get through this. Every day, I don't know if you've been following the news, every 5 minutes there's a new announcement that reminds you that the Revs had the best team. They came out with the best 11, which is like the all pros essentially.
Yeah.
You know how many of the best 11 the Revs had?
9.
Honestly, they could have. But they had 4.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's a high percentage.
There's
That's
a lot of
over-
MLS teams.
That's over
It's over
33%.
33. Yes,
Yeah.
it's over a third of the team was the Revs. And the coach of the year is Bruce Arena. And I don't know if it was officially announced today because someone texted me. They were like, oh, Carlos Heel, MVP. And I was like, yeah.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously he was going to be MVP. And it doesn't make me feel good. I've already celebrated Carlos Heel being MVP, and it's by watching him dominate all season.
You were ready for the championship.
You know what, though? Friend of the podcast, John Norris, said this, and it was before the Revs lost. If this were any other soccer league, them winning the Supporters' Shield, like that would be the real
The championship.
thing.
Yeah, that is the championship.
Right.
Most soccer leagues.
And MLS is just an Americanified version of the sport. But I feel like I can't do that because it being an Americanified version of the sport is probably what made the league so accessible to me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So no excuses. Just got to move on. Got to just rock all the new logos, all that sick merch, and move on. So check out, we didn't make any jokes there about Hitch. We just talked a lot about Dirty D's. And by the way, people, loved that matchup.
Yep.
Because I heard from both things. I heard like, ooh, I bet I know what happened on that. I bet you were like, how is Hitch as good as Dirty Dancing? And then when you rewatched it, you realized, wow, Hitch is better than Dirty Dancing. Spoiler alert. It's not at all what happened. But it shows that people like Hitch enough that they thought, all right.
It can hang.
Yes, exactly. And then other people were like, how dare Dirty Dancing be rated that low?
I mean, there are definitely more people in the world that have Dirty Dancing as one of their favorite movies than have Hitch as one of their favorite movies, I would say.
Yes, but I mean, people were saying like Hitch is a TNT TBS classic or whatever, and although is Dirty Dancing as well?
No.
Is that on TV a lot?
I mean, neither one of us had ever seen it.
Yeah, that's true. But
Not only had neither one of us ever seen it, neither one of us knew what the hell Dirty Dancing was. We knew there was dancing.
Further off.
We knew that some of it was dirty.
We
knew that the Swayze was in there.
Yeah.
No idea anything else other than that.
Is Swayze in Footloose?
No, I don't think so, right?
That's Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
We gotta get
We should have Bacon Week.
Bacon Week would be dope.
Yeah. There's a lot to cover in Bacon Week, too.
It would be so tough to not do just like Lindhagen.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Shit. What kind of like Lindhagen merch could there be? Like one of one merch, like shirts that we would just make for each other to wear.
Just like David Lindhagen cucked
It's like something about
me or something.
Like,
yeah.
Is David Lindhagen sleeping with your wife too, or something like that? The best interaction in that movie is, "Hey, your wife's sleeping with David Lindhagen. You know how I know that? Because he's sleeping with your wife too." It was because Cal was yelling to the whole bar about how David Lindhagen made a couple.
That movie is
of
the
them.
fucking best, and I haven't watched it in so long. That is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time.
I completely agree. And as discussed on the most recent tomato fights, the lift in Crazy Stupid Love better and more romantic than it was in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, but it's a cover.
That's true. Dirty Dancing has grown on me though.
Yeah, same. I like it.
When I saw it at first, when I saw both those movies, I was like, all right, both of these well-earned sub 70 scores. But now I'm like, I definitely like Dirty Dancing. They dance very dirty. It's
famously.
That was you know who would say that? Will DeFreeze would say that.
True.
He'd say, here's the thing about that movie. They dance, but they dance so dirty. And then Dylan would go, damn.
God, I wish
Dave
our
wouldn't
podcast
say
was that
anything
good.
in that interaction, and I'd still come away from it being like, Dave's the funniest fucking person in the world. They're great. Yeah, I listen to that podcast all the time. It's called Brunch. Check it out. 5 stars. Patreon.com/.
That's right.
Brunch.
You see any bad tweets this week? Yeah, you did, because we saw the worst tweet of all time this week.
Big tweet over the weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was this weekend.
I don't even know how. We're canning this episode.
Yeah, this episode is.
Episode's
DJ's in California right now.
A little early.
He's a West Coast boy this week, so we recorded over the weekend. Yeah. But boy, this weekend brought some bad tweets.
I'm in In-N-Out right now, and they're like, DJ, are you a Californians guy?
No. Oh yeah. The Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a couple of things that like I assume we've talked about a million times, and every now and then like one of them will come up and we'll realize like one of us not only isn't like big on it but hasn't heard of it. Oh, we did that with Lazy Sunday.
Yes.
Did you ever end up watching that?
No.
We're gonna watch. Want to do it during this episode?
No.
Well, yeah, we'll do it during. This is gonna be a long episode. Buckle up, buddy.
You basically like did the whole Lazy Sunday skit for me. Just walking through the streets of New York.
I did a few bars. We walked past Magnolia.
I guess we can discuss it as part of the New York trip, which we will go into detail with later on in this episode, because we're gonna be talking about Licorice Pizza.
But first, Pete's gonna watch Lazy Sunday. Be right back. No, do you want to do that? No. At some point, can I get you during this podcast to watch Lazy Sunday?
We'll see.
And then react.
We'll see.
I mean, hopefully the stuff we have planned doesn't go really fast.
It won't. We have a lot to talk about.
Over. I don't know. I'm gonna have no say in this. I'm gonna try my best to have this go a normal length. But
you know what would be cool? You know what? Something that we've never done before.
What's that?
But might be cool. A post-credit scene. Where after this episode, we'll run through the credits, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, as you're seeing all these names scroll down your screen, boom, I pop up. It's me watching Lazy Sunday and reacting.
Like a reaction video?
Yes.
I'd have to call Daddy Peacock to see if he'd be cool with I could see that being a problem. And that's not me casting aspersions on NBC. That's me casting aspersions on everybody. We're gonna find out that somehow like Don Henley has a writing credit on Lazy Sunday. He's gonna be super litigious. We're gonna get sued.
I don't know, man. I see a lot of people watch music videos or whatever it is. Like it's like it's a form of content, like commentary type thing.
I hope so, because I legitimately think stuff like that should be fair use.
Yeah.
The great music YouTuber Rick Beato will freak out over shit like that, because he'll like point out, he'll say like, hey, this is why this song is interesting. These are the chords they use, this is blah, blah. And like by playing the song, sometimes an artist will be like, no, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, yo, I am S-ing your song's D for like 5 minutes on this video. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to listen to your song after.
Yeah.
Shut up. So, I don't know. Hopefully people are cool with fair use. Anyway,
by the way,
no time for Licorice Pizza. Let's check out Lazy Sunday.
Did you happen to watch the video about the guy who told the story about the New York Times writer?
Yes, I did watch that.
Did you watch that? I watched that this morning.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yes.
You're a better man than me. I watched like 10 minutes of it.
Really?
Had to get, I flew me in on the last 10 minutes.
I flew through that thing. I don't know. Like, I mean, the big takeaway is that this guy has a library of like over 2,500 songs that he's just taken in like 99% of the profits for when he didn't make them.
So my question is, though, did anybody listen to those songs?
Yeah, like I saw his page,
Yeah.
whatever the guy's name, Ian something,
Yeah.
Ian Medina maybe. his Spotify page has over 700,000 monthly listeners.
Wow. Okay, so the scam this guy ran is, or scam maybe, like who knows? The person who was doing the video was being like pretty, seemed like he was being like pretty fair, even though he was one of the victims.
Yeah.
But somebody, a writer from the New York Times contacted a musician, was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm doing this, like audio visual component of a story I wrote, and it's going to involve music, and it'd be really cool if you could be the person that does the music." So this person like jumped in and didn't know that he sent the same thing to 426,
which has
or maybe
become
even more, because 426 agreed to do it. So who knows? Maybe even
right.
more.
Yeah. And 426 agreed to do it, and like since like he made the video, it's like over 500 or something.
And
like he's still doing it.
So then what ended up happening? They all made the songs for him, and he ended up like putting himself as a writer of those songs.
He ended up putting himself as a writer of those songs, and like the reason there was no money given to the artist up front. He said that they basically they would get like exposure, and they would get royalties from the playing of the songs, but the contract that he had sent over basically said that like, you know, it's going to be like a 50-50 split with the record label, or like it's going to be a 50-50 split with the writer and the artist, the two collaborators, and then like the other 50 is going to go to the record label. Mm-hmm. Where it really gets sketchy is that record label is basically like a shell company that he registered under his wife's name.
Oh, wow.
So like he's raking in like 90% or whatever it is, or whatever the math comes down to. He's raking in most of the money and pulling in like a ton of royalties without giving any money up front. And like he promised that like there would be there was $50,000 that were invested into promoting the materials, that it would end up being on like there was doing like a Netflix thing and a Spotify thing.
Oh yeah,
none of that shit happened.
Yeah, so that's as far as I got, where like he kept saying Netflix is interested, Spotify's, like all these places are interested.
And it's crazy. That guy's still doing it, and I went to his Twitter today. My man is just like tweeting as though
Still
that
just,
shit
like,
is
living
not
life.
Yeah, that like that. I went through like the replies. Everybody, like every single reply is like, "Yo, you gonna say something about this fucking scam you're running?"
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just tweeting through it.
Very interesting. So, the weird tweets. Well, there was the Marjorie Taylor Greene
Hilarious
tweet that I had to read 100 times to make sure. That person said 600,000 people die a year from cancer, and we don't close schools or shut anything down. So obviously the big thing there is that this person doesn't understand that COVID is contagious, cancer not contagious.
Famously.
Although brunch listener pointed out, according in the Dawson's Creek universe, cancer might be contagious if you cheat on your spouse.
That's true.
So that's big facts from Joey Potter. Joey Taylor Potter, American flag emoji. The other thing, though, is, so not only does this say she doesn't understand that cancer's not contagious, does she think that people are shutting things down and like wearing masks in mourning? Like, oh, a bunch of people died, so like let's not go to anything today. Like,
yeah, it's like a false equivalency type thing.
It's shut down to prevent the spread of this thing. Dumb tweet, but
yeah, no, I think it's more that she's just like, she thinks that people are afraid of COVID, even though it's like it exists and it's going to continue to exist. Even though like people aren't afraid of cancer, but that exists and kills a bunch of people and will continue to exist. But it's like, again,
famously, people not afraid of cancer.
You're right.
Famously, people very nobody ever goes to the doctor to get checked for anything to make sure they might not have cancer.
You don't have to put labels on shit if it might give you cancer.
The U.S. population famously flippant about cancer.
That's right.
They are not worried, per Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, famously, like when you go to the doctor and they tell you have cancer, you're like, phew, I thought it was going to be something else.
Marjorie. Not a good tweet. We're going to call it a bad one. Someone responded to
Her
it.
tweet is that tweet is as bad as her deadlifting form. I don't know if you've ever seen the video.
No, I've kind of sat her out, to be honest.
It's a smart decision, but there's either like a video of her deadlifting or her like cleaning and jerking. And she has the worst form ever. It's just like her back is just like totally bent, and it's just like you are gonna throw out your back so quick.
Pass. Yeah, I've just sat out that whole experience, but I try to not do the quote tweets, but I like many quote tweeted saying something to the effect of, well, this isn't so smart. And someone responded and said, she got her tests handed back to her face down.
That is an incredible response.
I feel like we've all been there.
Yeah.
But we didn't grow up to tweet things that dumb.
I also saw that there was one response that was, people squint at the sun because it's bright. People squint at Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's not bright.
That's interesting. That also had the same energy, and now I'm quoting my tweet, but it's like the I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Yeah.
Like saying like, disease, same.
Yeah, but I think Greg did say
Greg
you can
said
milk
you can,
anything
right.
with
so
nipples.
That's the thing. Like, it is Greg's fault.
Yes.
And that's, really that was.
We should definitely do
that
a tomato
was
fights
Jack.
with Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents.
I've never seen Meet the Fockers. I've seen
We should do Meet the Parents as a tomato fight. That movie is outstanding.
Let's see. What do you think Meet the Parents is on Rotten Teas?
87.
It is an 84.
Wow, it's very close.
I'm going to add it right now. The other
I did see this week, weirdly enough, that Ben Stiller is now older. Than what's his name? God damn it. Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Is now older than Robert De Niro was when he played the parent in Meet the Parents.
Jack,
yeah.
Jack Talk Thai. That's how I know that. Meet the Parents is. I have Meet the Fockers in here for some reason, but I don't have.
What's
Meet
that
the
at
Parents.
on Rotten Tomatoes?
Let's see. Meet the Fockers is. It is. Castaway's in 89. That's the other movie in that trilogy. Meet the Fockers is an. No, it's not an anything. It is a. So if it's not an and it's a, that means it could be a 90-something, a 70-something,
Yep, 60-something.
a 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. So really only 80.
Yeah.
Did you
that
know?
does not wind it down.
Did you know that a lot of numbers start with consonants?
It's crazy.
Fun fact.
It's a big fun fact.
That is the first. That is on page number 1 of the book. Although that'd be confusing because you'd be like, "Well, I'm on page 1. That's starting with a vowel." Bro.
It should be on page 8.
Yeah.
Did you know that 8 is the only number?
But 1.
Yeah.
1, 8.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. 2. We made the same joke. We just found the only other
That's
number
true,
that
yeah.
we could use. So it's not an 80-something, Pete. I know you thought it was. Meet the Fockers.
I said Meet the Parents.
I know. I'm kidding.
Fuck
Meet
you.
the Fockers does have an 8 in it, though. It's not an 8.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember it being that bad. It's a 68.
It's a 38.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember Meet the Fockers being that bad, but
Yeah.
I don't remember Meet the Fockers really.
That
and I was a
movie
child.
didn't stick to its guns. That's how it ended up being a 38 special.
Good joke.
As the Jonas Brothers say. As the Jonas Brothers say. That's a soccer for you. Been meaning to use that one when talking about soccer.
Did you hear that chicken tenders are going extinct?
Oh, I have.
Do you
it's
believe
enough
it?
to strike terror into the hearts of all parents whose children can't get enough of this dinner time favorite. That's per today.com/food/supply chain crisis now impacting chicken tenders.
My source for this story is balleralert.com.
Baller alert?
Yeah,
Is this so that's saying like, watch out, this person's a baller?
I think so. I think it's like a. I think that this website is like. I have no idea.
Gonna give you a virus?
No, I have no idea what. It seems like it may be like a black culture website.
Okay.
So they're really kind of. They're checking a lot of boxes. They're writing about the chicken tenders being at risk of extinction due to global shortage. But yeah, that's my source for this story. I don't believe it. I don't think that chicken tenders can ever really go extinct.
No, because then you just
Like if chickens aren't going extinct, how can chicken tenders go extinct?
let's see.
I think that
there
would
is
be
a
the
reason
bigger
as to
problem.
why this is happening, but I'll say this, like, you don't really. Let's be real. Like, you don't really need chicken.
Right.
Chicken fingers. Or
Actually,
chicken tenders.
I have frozen chicken, quote unquote chicken tenders in my freezer right now,
Yeah.
and they're like veggie tenders. I didn't know that when I bought them,
Yeah.
and like you can definitely taste the difference, but it's not so bad.
Right. I know. I mean, there's one that's really popular. That's like a plant-based chicken. I think they're just called nugs.
Okay.
And they're plant-based or whatever. And that happens all the time. Like my mom had a taco, and she was like, "Hey, I had the Impossible taco at this place. It was awesome." And she was like, and she was like listing what was on it. I was like, and like Impossible meat. And she was like, "What?" And I was like, it was called an Impossible, and I'm gonna make fun of my mom, but like I was like, it's called an Impossible thing because it's not real meat. And she was like, "I'll be damned, it tasted just like meat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, and that happens a ton."
Have you had an Impossible Burger?
I still haven't.
I have. They're
Yeah.
really good.
I've heard that they aren't great on the tummy.
Oh, really? Well, I
Yeah.
only had one, and I probably had one by accident. I had like 4 other burgers, so I never like
Nice.
thought about it. But yeah, I remember like not knowing the difference. So.
Definitely not against it. The only thing is with anything that isn't that's some sort of like replacement thing, like a lot of milks and cheese replacements. I'm always afraid that it's just gonna be like nut stuff, and I can't have a lot of nuts, so I just kind of sit that out. But I don't think that like a veggie burger or shit like that would be fucking with.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're tossing pine nuts in there, but I don't know. It's not my area of expertise.
DJ Bean famously not having a lot of nuts.
Not having a lot of nuts. Although it's actually I can't have legumes. So,
Nice.
yeah. Lord, I'm about to snack on that legume. Okay.
Now for
Licorice
the
pizza.
good stuff. Hell yeah.
Licorice Pizza. It's out in a couple of weeks, and we're not going to spoil it. I'm going to have seen it at least 3 times by the time December 25th rolls around. But understand that it's not going to be everywhere until December 25th. So we're going to basically do like basic discovery spoilers, which is like everything will be surface level or stuff that is already out there now. So if we say this person's in it and they're so great, that person is in the cast, and
we're just reviewing their
that is
performance.
information that is out there. But
Yeah,
we're not
I would
going
say I would say like basically whatever you're gonna hear in this review is basically like if you clicked a link about like researching or a review for Licorice Pizza, you'd get it in there.
Or if you watched, I mean, because I'll say like one of my favorite things about seeing Get Out is that I had forgotten everything from the trailer by the time I saw it. So this might be akin to seeing a trailer before you see a movie, which isn't always good. Like I don't always like to have the trailer fresh in mind when I go into certain
the good thing
movies.
about this trailer for this movie is that it really tells you nothing about the movie.
Yeah.
Very, very little.
It tells you there's a boy, there's a girl, that there's probably an age difference, that the song Life on Mars by David Bowie is played in the film. I'm just going to spoil it right now. It is.
Yeah.
They play that song.
And it works.
It works.
It definitely works.
I was surprised. I didn't think that that Bowie would would work set to film, but
Bradley
it did.
Cooper famously also in this movie.
Bradley Cooper is in this movie. That's what our review is going to be.
It's
which,
just
Tom
naming
Waits
the
is in the
cast.
movie.
Yeah.
Sean Penn is in the movie.
Mhm.
Leonardo DiCaprio's dad is in the movie.
That story is hilarious.
So there's a waterbed angle to this movie. That's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think it is, but yeah.
Absolutely not in the trailer. There's a guy that sells waterbeds, and that's Leonardo DiCaprio's dad. And he got cast because Paul Thomas Anderson had the vision of this guy selling waterbeds. And he was like, who do I know that looks like that? And he realized that he was envisioning Leonardo DiCaprio's dad. So he cast Leonardo DiCaprio's dad to be a waterbed salesman.
And then finds out after the fact that once in his life, Leonardo DiCaprio's dad was in fact a waterbed salesman.
That's crazy.
That is unbelievable.
That's
that like
crazy.
that is the mark of a true visionary. You think in your head, what does a waterbed salesman look like? You picture somebody who you know, and they, without your knowledge, they were a waterbed salesman. That is unbelievable.
Also unbelievable, Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo DiCaprio famously have never worked together, but almost did one time because when Paul Thomas Anderson made a movie about the golden age of porn that made him universally, no questions asked,
Hot
seen
shit.
as like the best director. I find that so incredible. They're like, obviously he's done a lot of great things, but like, hey, what was it that made everyone freak out about Paul Thomas Anderson?
Boogie
Well, he
Nights.
made this porn movie starring Mark Wahlberg, and it's the best movie.
I know. It is. That is wild. And like, maybe it was just like a mark of a different time.
Yeah.
But like, if Boogie Nights came out now, that movie would not be universally beloved. People would have like think pieces on it.
Yeah.
People would be like, this guy might be problematic. Like,
mean-
people would be so split on Boogie Nights, I think.
The closest thing I can think of to it in terms of like, what? They made this movie is Don John.
Yeah.
And the world didn't shove Don John away, but they
just
were like,
mostly pretended that it didn't exist,
we'd like
I
to
guess.
forget you. Although famously, high Rotten Tomatoes score, higher than expected.
We both watched it pretty recently, and I
Yeah.
think, like, I kind of like that movie.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The issue is just like the friend jumping around. My boy smashes.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, man. Tell you what, a bunch of people who don't smash do. Jump up and down, hooting and hollering, whooping it up for my boy smashed yesterday. Like, get out of here.
But that's
dude.
why that rocks. Like, he's such a bad
I
character.
knew you would smash. I was telling everybody the whole night. Whoa, where's John? He's got to be smashing. If I know
mean,
John, he's smashing.
as somebody
my boy
who-
smashes.
As somebody who just recently watched and started rewatching The Jersey Shore,
Yeah,
that person exists.
Yeah, this was for sure. It's like I Love You Man came when like bromances were a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the kind of tail end, or like the apex, I should say, of bromance culture. Don John was the apex of my boy smashes culture.
What culture are we in right now?
It's a good question.
I mean, I guess the easier answer is cancel
Cancel
culture.
culture, famously very popular
Yeah.
thing. Which, by the way, just everybody have compassion.
Yeah.
Try to, if you can. If you can.
It sounds like
If a lack of compassion is an issue for you, then I have compassion towards that, and I
Mhm.
respect that.
very respectable of you.
Yes.
Very compassionate.
Compassion on compassion on
That's right.
compassion. And that's not saying that folks shouldn't be canceled. Some folks shouldn't have jobs if they're
Yeah.
clearly not cut up for it, if
Accountability.
they don't have the character for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if someone's hurting, someone's messed up, and again, I'm not,
Somebody makes a human mistake.
you know, the stuff that I'm like not excusing, but yeah, generally I have compassion. Like I'll even say like the Chris Cuomo thing, like that's fucking complicated, and obviously I'm gonna sound biased because I'm processing the Chris Cuomo thing, and again, we're recording this early, so if like bad, horrible things come out about Chris Cuomo,
Yeah, it happened today, like
I
hours,
apologize.
like an hour ago.
but I assumed that he would have been helping his brother and trying to do whatever, and that's fucking wrong, and you have to lose your job for that. That's also though, like I do
so that's
understand.
the thing. Like I don't necessarily disagree that
Has
he
to be
should have been
fired.
fired. Yeah,
Has
he
to
as
be.
somebody who is like is given the professional responsibility
Yeah.
of being an arbiter of the news and like being a trustworthy source and like giving you facts.
If you're working,
to cover up for
if you're working your sources to try to help a family member out of a jam, you absolutely can't do that, especially when it's something like that. But I also, and again, this isn't excusing it. I understand that a person would do that. Like
It's a complicated situation.
I am not surprised that a person would do that to help out a family member.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong and they have to lose their job for it, but it definitely makes sense as the wrong word. But like you know what I'm saying? Like I get, and
you
believe,
can understand why
yes,
somebody would be compelled to do that.
I believe that somebody would do that, and since he lost his job, like I don't know, a lot of the making fun of him and shitting on him and everything kind of gives off a like, do you know that you wouldn't like do something fucking like really bad to try to save a family member or try to help out somebody that you knew did something wrong but is super close to you? Like, life's fucking hard. So I don't know. I just don't like the idea of making everything about like,
and painting everything with like a black and white sort of like good and bad brush.
right, like that person fucked up and they lost their job and they had to lose their job, but I believe that that's like a thing that a lot of people would do. So I guess what I'm saying is like I think a lot of the people that are very quick when somebody fucks up or does something wrong, gets fired, whatever it may be, like I don't know that the average person wouldn't have a fuck up like that, or
Yeah, I guess it's
whatever.
like the victory parade thing.
That's what I'm saying. And again, I'm not excusing people who lose their jobs for doing bad shit. And certainly Cuomo, like you guys know if you've listened to the podcast that I've been a fan of Chris Cuomo. He had to lose his job for that. But yeah, that's it, I guess. Like the victory parade thing where it's like, man, like we're all humans, and I don't know, just a little compassion. That's me being a softy, or I don't know, maybe an asshole, depending on how whatever.
How did we get here on a Licorice Pizza discussion, the cancel culture thing?
Oh, we're gonna cancel Paul Thomas Anderson because
right.
there's a big age difference between the characters in this movie.
Yeah, you said it when we walked out. That like I don't. This isn't like a big spoiler or anything. Like there's the story centers around a boy and a girl. And it's a coming-of-age tale.
Yeah.
And one of the people is already of age, and the other one is not.
Yes. There's a 25-year-old hanging around a 15-year-old. So there's definitely going to be thoughts on that, but I think that it's more of like a portrayal isn't I learned this recently. This is something people say in arts. Portrayal isn't I don't want to say endorsement, because that sounds like the Twitter bio thing.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's something like that, though. Like, just because you're portraying something doesn't mean that you're saying it's a good thing.
And, like, art's supposed to make you think.
Yeah.
It's supposed to generate some thoughts in your head.
Right.
And I will say, that aspect is not the most offensive thing that happens in this movie.
Oh, yes.
There is.
There's
I don't want to spoil it, because
Yeah.
I would love for you to experience
I forgot about
the
that.
movie theater atmosphere when there is like an initial scene where one of the characters does something extremely offensive, like over the top offensive.
Yeah.
And the theater reaction to it was palpable.
The theater reaction was challenging, I would say.
Right, because it was like, it is
Some laughs, some gasps.
Yeah. And it is. I didn't know what to do. I really did. I think
I'll
just
just be honest.
I think I just like put my hands on my head,
Yeah.
or like my hands over my face, and was just like, "Oh my god."
I'll be honest. I was gasp. I gasped.
I think we looked at each other and we were like, "Oh
I
my
was
god."
taken aback, and people were laughing, and Then when it happens multiple
It
times.
happens multiple times, yeah.
Stunned. But that's the kind of thing where, like, in mid 90s, the language is very 90s, and I think that it was gutsy, but probably the correct move to have the language authentically 90s. This movie's set in 1972, so somebody being that offensive in 1972 is very believable,
realistic, yeah.
But it's not like with the mid 90s thing. If you didn't have kids talking like that, then it would be noticeable. I don't think that the 70s was like people making sure to always get in a super offensive thing. So when that could have been skipped.
Yeah, it definitely could have been skipped. I would say the casting choice of the person who did the very offensive thing makes a lot of sense, and it's sort of that. I think that very much, like, I don't want to say it worked, but like you know that character sort of like does that actor does that sort of humor.
Oh yeah.
Frequently. So
yeah.
So like it was like not totally out of nowhere, I guess.
The actor we're talking about is Alanna Haim. Very offensive. I'm kidding. It was not Alanna Haim. But Alana's great in this movie.
She is.
Seriously is.
Amazing.
She America's going to fall in love with Alanna Haim, and I feel like America's going to fall in love with Cooper Hoffman. They are like, there's going to be people like drawing pictures of them and like tweeting pictures of like cartoons of them and like doing fan art and all this stuff.
I mean, there's definitely also going to be out of context Licorice Pizza accounts, because there are so many memeable things from this movie.
It's an extremely, extremely memeable movie. There's multiple Alanna lines that are going to be perfect. I said after, I was like, I hate that when we watch movies now, we do have to kind of think in terms of memes. But after we were like, I'm going to say this. I'm going to use this for this, and I'm going to use this for this and everything. This isn't a spoiler. I'll just say look out for it. There's one shot where someone's on the phone, and they show the couch, and Danielle just like peeks her head up above and is listening, and that is going to be heavily. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think I gasped at that. No, I laughed out loud at that. I don't know if like people were supposed to be laughing at that, but there are a lot of like great shots like that.
Alanna Haim is the girl in this movie, but the entire Haim family, the entire Haim family is in this movie, and it
quite
is
a bit. And
it's incredible. They're all so funny.
This is another basic Discovery thing. If you follow Alanna or Haim, they've probably posted things about how their dad steals the show. Now, that's their dad, so they like love him and everything. So they're only saying that because their dad steals the show.
Yes, it's not a biased take.
Mordecai Haim, you goddamn legend.
It is so fucking funny.
I was stunned. I didn't know that. Oh, I did know that their whole family was in it. But still, the first scene with him, she comes home, and her dad's in the driveway and is like, "Hey, like, where you been?" And I just didn't add it all up. Like, I knew he was in the movie. I knew the whole family's in the movie. But she comes home and
shooting
I hear
hoops.
I hear her. I hear like an old Jewish man say, "Where have you been?" And not to be weird, like I've seen him in stuff before. I think like Jeff did a documentary on them a million years ago, and he's in like the background of one of the videos. We should have Jeff on for a Haim episode. But I was like, oh right, like her straight up dad is.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because they have all the sisters in it, the mother and the father, and they just play themselves, essentially. They keep all their names. Alanna is Alanna, but Cooper's not Cooper, right? No, Cooper is
Gary.
Gary. That's
Gary
right.
Valentine.
Yeah. So
which
I don't know
feel
how
like Paul might have still been in kind of like golden age of porn.
Yeah, right, yeah.
mode when picking the names, but
well, I think that Gary wishes he was in the golden age of porn too.
Famously. asks for HJs. It's not a
Loves
spoiler.
HJs.
It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's the beginning. It's David Bowie singing about Gary asking for those H'ers.
I was reading a little bit about the movie and like the process, and one of the fun facts that I found this week was that the first thing that they shot overall for the entire movie was the first scene with Bradley Cooper, and they did this because both Alanna and Cooper are making their feature film debuts. Famously, not big actors yet, so they're new.
Well, Cooper still has to grow.
True.
He'll be big. He'll be a bigger actor in.
He will. He's only 15.
Once he hits his growth spurt.
Right.
Yes.
So when Bradley Cooper's character meets
Alanna, famously 29 years old.
When Bradley Cooper's character meets Alanna and Cooper, it's like a real like power standoff.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Thomas Anderson made the decision to shoot that scene first because Bradley Cooper is an established, powerful actor, and they are very green actors and actresses.
Kids.
And like that scene is so fucking good that like it's just like that man is a great director for even thinking about that.
Oh yeah.
And like it's just.
And that you do see in the trailer. That scene is
yes.
a lot of that scene is in the trailer.
That is the Streisand scene.
Yeah.
The Streisand.
Yeah. I was kind of confused when I saw that in the trailer.
I was like,
I
how do
didn't
you
get
say
the first couple times. I'm like,
says it right the first time.
I think he's saying Streisand.
Yeah.
I think, but I'm just assuming like, well, this is the kid, and that's Bradley Cooper.
Right.
Bradley Cooper is so smart that he made himself the hot one in the movie he made. So I'm gonna trust this guy. But in context, no, that guy is just a crazy, like coked up, mean guy, and he's intimidating. The longer cut of the Streisand scene, I was giggling throughout.
It was hilarious.
Very, very funny.
A lot of funny scenes in this movie. It's a very lighthearted movie. Also, the fact that you keep saying like, "Oh, it's in the trailer," it's not a spoiler. Here is a spoiler.
Uh-oh.
Don't believe everything you see in the trailer, because everything you see in the trailer, not all in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not all
So
of it.
it goes both ways.
There are some shots though that are too good to not put in a trailer.
That's right.
So,
feast on that for what you will.
Elite trailer, elite movie. It's a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes with I believe a 96 audience score. It's 91 with a 96 audience score. Personally, and I know that tomato score does not indicate it's a blank out of 100, but I would like to see that tomato meter up closer to 93, 94, but it certainly belongs in the 90s, and I'm glad it's there. The fashion is great. I've really recently loved it. I think that's just because it's kind of coming into fashion, but that early 70s fashion is the bomb.
Yeah.
I think I like early like decades fashion because like I love 1980 fashion as can you be seen in Freaks and Geeks because it's a lot of leftover shit from like the late 70s and it's dope. So
and we saw this movie in 70mm film.
Yes.
As Paul Thomas Anderson
Not to brag.
would love for
God
you to do
intended.
as well. I guess our takeaway from that, like, so heading into the movie, my thought was like, you know, I hope that it's worth it because we drove 4 hours to New York to not only see the movie, but see it as God intended.
Yeah.
In 70mm.
To get us some hockey jerseys.
That's right. But I also said, you know, I hope it's not so good that I'm going to feel disappointed anytime I have to watch a movie that's not in 70mm.
New York's a long trip.
It is a long trip. My takeaway is that 70mm is kind of just like shittier quality.
A little worse, a little shakier.
But like it absolutely works for Licorice Pizza because this is like an older stylized movie.
Yeah. And I mean there was just no shot. It's already bad enough that it opened in select theaters a month early and then will have a national release at the end of this month, but also like there's just absolutely no question as to whether he would let this stream or follow the pattern of anything else recently. Like, there's no way this was gonna go straight to Netflix.
No. Although I could see it being one of those movies. Like, this could be like a Marriage Story type watch.
No, obviously, like, great movies.
Right.
I thought I Care a Lot was awesome, and that went straight to Netflix.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think that Paul Thomas Anderson is more of like a traditionalist and like likes the art of it too much to kind of to not like go back to basics, I suppose. Yeah, but I mean, we said this before that like there was zero chance that neither one of us was going to like love this movie
head over heels.
And so after seeing it, I didn't know if like I knew that the reviews were great, and I know that people trust Paul Thomas Anderson. I didn't know if people were going to love it as much as we did, and as much as we do. But I am seeing like unanimous love for this movie.
So I've heard, I haven't seen anything but like the movie people I talk to say like, I've kind of heard everything on it. Like I've heard,
really?
Like I
haven't heard a bad thing,
and I've heard like, one of the bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes calls it a meandering nostalgia trap, and I think that's low-hanging. I think that's an easy thing to say about any movie that's set in the 60s or 70s. Be
especially
like,
in California.
You're just going for nostalgia and everything. And
people said the same thing about fucking La La Land.
So I was gonna say, I said this on Tomato Fights. This movie is 1,000% going to get La La Landed. People are going to love it. The first batch of people that see it are going to say how great it is, and then because people are the way that they are, and I have compassion towards those people, but because people are the way they are, they're going to be like, oh well, it's just some LA bub. Oh yeah, like I guess you're a real cheap date if that impresses you. And it's like, no. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it can be set in L.A. and pay homage to the California past and still be an awesome, delightful movie.
Right.
And it is. So,
also, and if you expect Paul Thomas Anderson to work with the Haim sisters and not have it be L.A. porn, what have you been paying attention?
Was confusing when Gary gets arrested and they're pulling away in the cop car. Alanna runs after the car, and there's actually, you know what? There's a lot of Alanna running in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a central theme.
Will that cause a divide in the family?
Because there are some walking scenes, though. There are some like brisk walking scenes, and I was like, oh, it's weird that there's no high music playing here.
Right. Famously, they take the steps together.
They got it.
They walk down the street.
So yes, go see Licorice Pizza whenever you can. The earliest possible showing that you can get to.
Yeah.
It absolutely highly recommend. The highest recommend. It is going to be in the discussion for Oscars talk too as well. Like no doubt.
If Alanna Haim is nominated for Best Actress, I am.
Why don't they have a Best New Actress category?
That'd
or like
be awesome.
Best New Actor?
Right. Because then it would go to like Leo or somebody. Because
yeah, they should just follow it like
do it like the Grammys. Yeah. Be like, all right, best new actress goes to, oh, I love this,
Lizzo.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah. So as part of this episode, we also wanted to do a little Haim dive.
Yeah, we haven't done as much Haim as usual, but let's do it. We got top 10 Haim songs and top 10 Haim things, and I had a tough enough time coming up with top 10 Haim songs. And you were like, how about Haim things? The things list was more fun to come up with, but it was also more difficult to come up with.
Because there's so many Haim things. Like, if you live in the Haim universe, you could go in so many different directions.
Yeah. I had a challenging time. But let's do it. You want to do songs or things first?
Let's do songs first.
Yeah, we can cruise through songs. Yeah. Okay, 10.
10 for me. I'm already cheating. I have a tie for 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna do like the Calvin Harris one, because I don't
no. Yeah, I think you would allow that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's fine.
Like mainly Danielle.
Yeah. No, I don't have any like collabs. Yeah. But I do have a tie in 10 because I had both these songs listed and I love them for different reasons, so I figured it was fine to put them as 10. 10. Gasoline / My Song 5.
Oh, great. 2 songs that famously are not on my list.
Okay, cool. I
And-
love that start. I put Gasoline because it sounds like a Sheryl Crow song.
Yeah.
And I put My Song 5 because it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking insane, and I love and I believe that you told me this fun fact. It's called My Song 5
Yes.
because they made it in GarageBand, and when you make songs, or you like start files in GarageBand, the template is My Song.
Yeah.
And if you start a new one, it's My Song 1, My Song 2, My Song 3. This was My Song 5. They made it in GarageBand with like clearly GarageBand tools,
Oh, yeah.
and they just kept that song title. I love that.
The like shitty MIDI horns just like pitched way down, like the amazing. Yeah, I love My Song 5. My Song 5 is a very sorry to not be on there. It's an honorable mention, somebody would also call it. I don't have My Song 5. Would love to have it on there. I don't have Gasoline or the other Sheryl Crow song on Women in Music Part 3, which is I've Been Down. I love I've Been Down. I actually think I prefer it to Gasoline. But my number 10 is a real classic. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be getting a lot of Days Are Gone from old Dave.
Yeah, of course.
10, I've got Honey and I.
Okay. On
Great
my
song.
list.
I figure I could see it being high for you.
Do you remember that video that I made of
Yeah, with
Honey? and I?
Honey.
Yeah, with Honey.
It was Honey and Pete.
Yeah, that's
Honey and
that was,
You.
it was an underrated video. I don't think I posted that. I think I only sent it to you. I think that was like a text message exclusive.
Whoa.
Number
Glad I paid
9.
the $5 that month.
Number 9. The Steps. The Steps is, I believe that was the lead single
think so,
off
yeah.
of Women in Music Part 3, WIM 3. I love the wailing guitar. I love it's a very empowering song.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of I feel like I'm like about to fucking scream girl power when I listen to that song.
Oh god, yeah. And in the music video, there's a close up of, I can't remember if that's a Paul Thomas Anderson music video.
It is.
But it is.
Yeah.
That's a PTA one.
Yeah, I think that's
Because
a
the music was by
one-shot
Haim.
music video too, I believe.
Like all in one shot.
I think so.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there are like different places in the house.
Yeah, but I think that the camera follows them. I could be just totally making this up, but I thought that it was a one-shot video. I'll look it up, but go ahead.
But the cool part is like there's a little drop chorus late in the song, which means like there's like no drums or anything, but like the rest of the stuff is happening, and she's singing like the every time I da da, and she's singing it all nice, and the camera's just on Danielle, and it's just on her face, and then the baby it
We
zooms out,
definitely-
and she's at the drum set and like does like the boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
and that's like the coolest fucking shot. That's a sick video and an excellent song.
and she eats lipstick.
Yes, yeah. I'll tell you, not the last we're going to hear from the Steps. Number 9, off of their sophomore effort.
Okay, famously not a
something to tell
one-shot
you.
music video because I am 6 seconds in and there's been a cut. Okay, I was
Bohemian
wrong.
Rhapsody. Number 9 for me is Want You Back.
Okay.
Classic too.
I love that song.
Yeah.
8, I have Walking Away. Walking Away. I don't know if that song would have made my top 10 if I had never seen it live. Seeing it live really elevated it for me.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it was in Chicago when we
Yes.
saw it, and a lot of smoke, like a heavy smoke machine, and they stand in place and
Dark Red Lights, right?
yeah, and like they dance to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fuck, that was amazing. And that song, I think that you called it a I don't know, did you call it a Destiny's Child song or like a
That sounds, something like that.
it's something, it's like
It
in that
harkens
vein.
to like the Maya.
It's so
type,
good.
Like women R&B of the early 2000s. So good.
Yeah.
Not the last we're gonna hear of Walking Away. Number 8, I've got another one of their like kind of departures from straight rock. 3 a.m.
That was
really, really fun song.
That was a honorable mention for me. I had it on my short list.
I recommend the version with Thundercat as well.
Yes.
They performed recently with Thundercat. I don't know if you saw the video of SD falling down on the stage.
No.
She was like walking, being real cool, doing stuff only Esty could do, and she steps on a monitor and just smokes herself, and she was posting it everywhere.
Yeah,
and Alanna posted something of like, she's like, that's why like none of you can be Esty because like you'd all make it into something stupid and be all scared of it and everything, and Esty just owns it. And you could see in the video, Thundercat is like playing and singing, and he's watching her, and as she's falling down, not in like a problematic way, he's like smiling and laughing.
Because I feel like you expect it with Esty. Like, if anybody's going to fall down, it's going to be Esty. And do you think that Esty has ever fallen in her life and it has not been like a production?
I was going to say, if I saw HAIM fall, the last thing I would worry about is, oh no, is she okay?
Yeah, she's
because
like a child.
I am positive
yeah,
she's okay.
She's like a little child where like they are built to just survive.
Is indestructible.
Yeah, right. That's a great choice. I had 3 a.m. Right on the outskirts. Number 7 for me is Now I'm In It, which is my favorite song off of Wimp 3.
Whoa.
And it is technically a bonus.
Yeah, I love that pick.
It's not on the actual listing. So if it's my favorite song on Wimp 3, that means there's no more
done
Wimp 3.
for Wimp 3.
No more Wimp 3. But Now I'm In It. Like, the music video is awesome. I'll give it extra points for that. And it just personally like appeals to me. It's quite synthy and like quite up tempo.
I was really having a hard time with the Wimp 3 songs too, because I really wanted to put I Know Alone on there, because the I Know Alone experience is amazing. It's a great song, great dance moves, love it, but don't have it on there. Number 7, I got The Steps, which we've already hit. I'll note that my number 6 is Walking Away. So we've now hit those anyway. So we've already discussed those. So you can give your
7 and 6.
6 and 5
because
you gave your 7. Yeah,
that's right. My 6 is Falling.
Oh fuck.
Sorry. What?
You don't have
You're not Falling?
Falling on there.
I have Falling. It holds a special place in my heart because it's my very first Haim introduction. It's the first that I've heard of Haim. It's the first song on the first album, and I remember you pushed Days Are Gone so fucking hard that I was like, fine, I'll check it out. Obviously started at the first song, first Haim exposure, and the chorus just fucking rocks. So that's my number 6. Number 5, I have Want You Back. The chorus goes crazy.
Yeah.
It's just such a good song.
Great song. Fuck. If we do any sort of graphic or something, we have to plaster all over this. Just DJ forgot Falling. Because, dude, I'm so with you on Falling in that people had pushed Haim on me, and I was, by the letter of the law, late to Haim. I was very big into Haim when I got into them, but I didn't check them out until the whole album was already out, and they were like a big drop the album queens band for a while. And Days Are Gone had already been out when I finally checked it out, and I went to a Starbucks. It was when I was still covering the Bruins. I was going there to write, and I was like, I'll put on this Haim album. And
you didn't write, I'll tell you that.
Even in the streaming days, I think I bought the album like on iTunes.
Okay.
And yeah, from the beginning, just like the sound of that album was fucking perfect for me, and I love it so much. And when we get into top 10 Haim things, I'll tell you, very high on the list is just going to be made the album Days Are Gone, because the whole production and everything of that, the songs, performance, it's seriously an A+ album for me. So that's a big omission on my part. My number 5 is the title track from that album, sung by Ms. Esty Haim, Days Are Gone. I love that song so much. Whenever in the spin world they're like, fine, DJ, we'll play some Haim for you. What do you want? I always tell them Days Are Gone.
Okay. I have number 4, Don't Save Me. Don't Save Me absolutely rips. What, you don't have that?
I was paused if I don't. Oh, my God.
I have Don't Save Me at number 4. The Take Me Back, Take Me Back, like that shit rules.
Fuck me.
I would not have ever assumed that we're making top 10 Haim song lists, that mine is better than yours.
Yours is so. I fucked up my list so badly. I was paused. I knew what were going to be in my top 3, and then I shuffled something in there, and now everything's gone. Fuck. I forgot Falling and Don't Save Me. That's fucking pathetic. Okay. Number 4 is Little of Your Love.
Okay.
Great song. Love it. It's got all sorts of vibes. Best song on Something to Tell You. I'm just so mad at myself that I forgot Don't Save Me. But give me your number 3.
My number 3 is Honey and I.
Mm.
It's like this, just the slow, lovely build to an incredible final act of that song.
Great time.
The
The
final act of that song is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I could run through a fucking wall.
So great. Number 3, Forever.
Okay.
That is
not on my list.
Just whoa.
Mhm.
So like that is just like iconic Haim. But that's like right there. Like when I, if there's like a what are the most important Haim songs thing, I would say that it's like The Wire, Forever, and Don't Save Me.
Okay.
Those are really fucking. Those are just like the Haim sound. But fuck yeah, I'm so mad at myself.
Leads me into my number 2, The Wire. It's so
Whoa!
funky, so flowy. I love it.
Whoa. My number 3 is If I Could Change Your Mind, which was my favorite song on Days Are Gone for a while, but I just do understand that at the end of the day, if I could see Haim play a show right now, which I haven't done in so long, I'd have one song at the top of my list. What's your number 1?
Did you already do number 2?
Yep.
Okay.
It's If I Could Change Your Mind.
Okay. Number 1 on my list, my favorite Haim song is Little of Your Love. It is
Great song.
It is such a good song, and like I don't know how to explain it, and I feel like I've used this phrase or whatever for songs before, but like when that song came out, I felt like it had I felt like it had already existed in my life.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't know how that song didn't already exist. Like I listened to it for the first time and I was like, how has this song not been in my life?
Right. Like this feels like it's already been part of my life.
Yeah, it just felt like an instant classic this first time I heard it.
It's so great. I first time I heard it was at I think Boston Calling, and they were just like doing the band thing of like, this isn't recorded, this isn't out, we're just like trying out new stuff, and we were like, well, that song's absolutely awesome. Famously written for the film Trainwreck.
Really? I
Famously
did not know
starring
that.
LeBron James.
That's right.
And Trainwreck said no thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy, how can you listen to that song and say no thank you?
That was a pass for old train dubs.
The first time that I had heard that song, I believe, because I don't think that I had heard it live beforehand, but the first time that I heard that song was on Saturday Night Live, because they played that song on Saturday Night Live like 2 months before they released it,
Yeah.
the version of it. And so like I heard that song, I fucking loved it, was dying for it, dying to listen to it any chance I could. I had to wait like 2 months for them to put it out.
Yeah, the wait between their first and second album, I remember, was like tough. I remember like Haim stands really just hanging on there every word and breath as they waited for more stuff.
Do you know when? I know the exact day that song came out, like, and was released.
It was during a weekday because I was at work, and
It's not true.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Is it?
it was. I don't know about release, but it was played on it was played on the BBC radio, and I like left work
I have
for a
a
little bit.
I have a
listened to it.
very vivid memory of maybe it was the day the full album was released. I have a very vivid memory of being at the airport with you, getting ready to go to Atlanta to visit Randy for the Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
And listening to Little of Your Love over and over and over again because it was the first time that I had been able to listen to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. When well, we'll have to check the dates. That's interesting. I don't remember that, but I believe it. Wild. Yeah, but maybe that was like the first time it was like we could get it on our phones and stuff. My number 1 is The Wire.
Okay.
Not a big surprise there, but that is a That's a perfect production, that one right there. Yeah, I fucked up forgetting Falling and Don't Save Me. They'd be high up there, so I guess maybe Want You Back and Honey and I would get squeezed out. But let's do top 10 Haim things.
Oh, we're doing 10? I only put down 5.
Oh, word. All right, let's do 5. We'll do 5, and then we can play around with the leftovers I got.
Okay. I'm not super proud of my number 5.
Okay.
I think that it's I think it's gonna make you roll your eyes. Number 5 for me is that I love that somehow they're in Taylor Swift's entourage. Like, that is I know that Taylor Swift has like a very expansive entourage at this point in time, but like they are sort of OG members of the Taylor Swift entourage, and it's just like I don't put them as like big Taylor Swift friends.
'Cause they're better.
It surprises
They're real
me.
musicians.
It surprises me that they hang out with Taylor Swift, so I think it's like kind of like a cool thing that like they are part of that like club.
All right, I'm going to do my 10 through 5.
Okay.
10, dressed up like Nardwuar for their Nardwuar interview. They wore hats and glasses. They got way into it for the do-do-do-do-do-do. 9, Alanna making face during Valentine gif that really I think only 2 people on the planet have used. Mainly Katie Nolan. If I tweet something bad, good, whatever, Katie will just respond with a gif of Alanna just like staring blankly for 5 seconds, then eventually going.
That wasn't Valentine, was it? It was.
I thought it was. Oh, maybe it was. I don't know.
What's the name of that song?
But that's a great gif, and it reminded me that I should use again. Number 8, Rihanna tweeted, "What y'all think about Haim?"
That's a great one.
Yeah, and Haim made a T-shirt out of it.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't buy it at one of their shows. They had it on, and it was like Rihanna. The tweet was from 2013.
That is incredible.
Number 7, Haim Time on Beats One is their radio show, and it was awesome. They would do a topic. They would all play 3 songs related to that topic, and then someone would call in and decide who won, and it was great. They did the battle of Britney, where they all picked their favorite Britney songs, and it was a cool little insight to all their musical taste.
By the way, it was Right Now, the video for Right Now.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Right, so Valentine was like all of that, though.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, okay.
I think
maybe.
I could be.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, but I just remember watching the Right Now video and also being upset that the Right Now album version is not quite as strong with the drums at the end.
Yeah, that video is awesome. Number 6, introduced me to Lizzo.
Because, oh, wow.
Lizzo opened for them, and she already had those songs out because famously Lizzo had those songs out forever. And then like 20 years into her career, people were like,
Best New Artist.
All right, these songs can be nominated even though they came out forever ago. Shout out Lizzo, though, because Lizzo was great. They played The Boy Is Mine together. It was a lot of fun. Number 5, Chromeo Old 45's music video.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. Should have been my number 5. I'm glad that you put it in there.
Should have been both of our number 1.
Yeah, probably.
Amazing. Just hanging out in leather jackets, bopping along, and that is a choice Chromeo cut.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite Chromeo song.
Same.
Yeah. Great video. Number 4 for me, I love the fact that they started as a family band. I love that. Like, I now love the entire Haim family based off of what I saw in Licorice Pizza. So it's very cool that they started off as a Rockin' Haim, and I love that they were just like this very wholesome family band that played like local shows and benefits and stuff, and just spawned the career of these like rock gods.
Yes. Number 4, Modi Haim's performance in Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tremendous.
Number 3 for me, the fact that Esty Haim's handles on social is Jizzy McGuire.
Very good. It's very good. It's very strong. Very strong out of Esty. Number 3 for me, Vampire Weekend's Father of the Bride album, which famously features Danielle Haim throughout, is co-produced by Ariel Rechtshaid, who the joke about like who's the 4th Haim sister thing, like all that, I've never been crazy about any of those jokes or whatever.
Why do we need a 4th one? We've got 3 amazing ones.
But like much like George Martin was like the 5th Beatle, Ariel Rechtshaid is like the 5th Haim and
Fourth.
Fourth Haim, and that album and Danielle's contributions are great. It's my favorite Vampire Weekend album, and Harmony Hall is one of my favorite
Harmony
songs
Hall
of the last
is
so many years.
an incredible song.
Great song.
Number 2, trying to figure out that family dynamic and like who plays what role and like just I mean I love them so much and all of their interactions, but like trying to envision what they're like on a day-to-day basis and like I don't know, in my head I feel like they're always together. They live together in one house. Like, I can't imagine them just living separately. And I don't think that Licorice Pizza fucking helped that at all because Alanna Haim is the youngest sister, obviously, in real life and in Licorice Pizza.
Famously,
and they dump all over her for being like a loser for like living at home and stuff. But like Esty and Danielle are both living at home with their parents in that movie. And it's just like, I'm so glad that played into for some reason, like this weird envisioning of the Haim family just all living under one roof at all times.
This is going to be like weird, like boy bandy stan stuff, but like of the Canes, so that's the Haim family in the movie Licorice Pizza, of the Kane daughters, Esty, famously Danielle, and Alanna, which of those three do you think you would be best friends with? And not meaning like they're your best friend, but like which do you think would be like best suited to be your friend?
Esty, I think probably because she is just like hilariously off the walls.
Yeah.
And like very judgmental, and I think it's hilarious.
Esty's very funny in this, but like
Danielle's super
character,
chill.
Yeah, Danielle's character is like somebody who would actually be my friend.
Yeah, like you could just like hang out on the couch and watch a movie with Danielle. She's just like the most chill person in the world in that movie.
There's a lot of good scenes with the Haim sisters in this movie, but there's an interaction between Danielle, a very brief interaction between Danielle and Alanna that is sensational. My number 2 is, you knew it was coming. They made Days Are Gone.
Okay.
That is a terrific album, and if you haven't listened to it, then you're no friend of this podcast, but it's the best.
Number 1 for me, my favorite Haim thing. This probably doesn't come as any shock. The Haim Paul Thomas Anderson connection, like just somehow.
Oh fuck! I have 2 3s.
Okay. The fact that like Paul Thomas Anderson does all of their music videos, I'm assuming for like just for fun, like not for work purposes, just because he wants to. Not only that, he casts them in his movies, even though they famously don't have much acting experience. He puts their parents in his movies. He lets them keep their same names in his movies. The fact that he was a student of the Haim matriarch, and that's how this connection happened. And I don't know, like I assume that you know the story of like how that happened is like the Haim mother was supposed to be shadowing an art teacher at the school that Paul Thomas Anderson went to, and the teacher had a heart attack in the parking lot, and so that like the Haim mother had to take on all these classes and got to be Paul Thomas Anderson's teacher, and then for like years after the fact just referred to him as Paul, and would be like, oh, Boogie Nights, that's my student Paul's movie. And they'd be like, wait, are you talking about fucking Paul Thomas Anderson? And she was like, yeah, that's Paul.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That is so fucking funny.
I accidentally had 2 number 3s, so apparently I had 11 instead of 5. And my other number 3 is responsible for Paul Thomas Anderson.
I don't know if I would put it that way, but yeah, okay.
I mean, he works in the arts. She taught him art. No PTA without Miss Haim.
We're not talking about parent-teacher association.
That's right. My number 1 is just.
Wait, maybe we are talking about parent-teacher association. Because that's exactly what the Haim mother was. Parent to the Haims, teacher to the Anderson.
Yeah. My number 1 is just that they eat, sleep, and breathe music. They represent my ideal musicians. They are both awesome at music and are fucking obsessed with it. Like I don't think that they did like their radio show for the check. I think
Right.
they're like, we would be sitting around
We get the
talking
chance.
about music
Yeah.
anyway, so let us do that. So like they know their shit. They're awesome. Like you hear stories like might be like the Killers or something, and then this isn't to like discredit the Killers or something, but like people, I know someone who lived in Vegas and was like, yeah, I knew about like the music scene in Vegas and everything, and like the Killers weren't like working the clubs or anything. Like they must have just gotten like discovered and then like put on some sort of fast track or whatever. Or like they're just some bands that like do the easy thing, and
Right.
I don't know. Like I'm
Like-
not trying to disparage anybody, but like,
But like, if the world found out, or if the world stopped caring about Haim tomorrow for whatever reason, they were just like, whatever, don't care. The entire world, they would still go on playing music,
Yes.
talking about music, loving music.
yeah,
I bet that like when they were kids, that before podcasting even existed, they probably sat around a table with like microphones and recorded themselves just talking about music
Right.
to like tape.
or like
and then
like,
saved
pretend to
it.
do like a radio show.
Yes,
or something
yeah.
like that. Like they were Rudy in the famous movie,
Blades of
Lord
Steel.
of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.